The last part of our recall to prior knowledge review is writing algebraic expressions to represent unknown quantities. So we're just going to focus on the quick check here. And what we know is that x is the unknown number we're going to be using, and we want to write an expression for each of the following. Before we get into the algebraic expression, I'm going to take 23 and use an example as a numerical expression. Let's say we had 7 more than 8. Well, if we had something that said 7 more than 8, well, we started with 8, and we add 7 to that because we have 7 more than that. 8 plus 7 gives us 15. We follow the same concept when we're writing expressions for algebra, except now we don't actually know that there's an 8. We don't know what that number is. That number could be anything. So if I were to write this here, the number we're going to replace with a variable. In this case, we're given the variable x to use. So 7 more than x, that would mean that we started with x, and we have 7 more than that, so we're going to add 7 to that. So an expression that represents number 23 would be x plus 7. For number 24, we have the product of 8 and a number. Well, now we need to understand what product means, and product would mean to multiply. So the product of 8 and the number, we don't know what that number is. Again, that number is x. So it's the product of 8 and x. So we're going to multiply 8 by x, which could be written as 8x. For number 25, we have 5 less than twice the number. And we're going to look at a numerical part of this to begin. Let's say it was 5 less than 8. A common mistake that I see is people just write it as the numbers come, and they write 5 minus 8. Because you think less than means subtract, which it does. And then we just write 5 minus 8. This would be incorrect though, because it is 8 less than 5 is what this is showing. This shows that you started with 5 and you took 8 away. We wouldn't want to do that with this. To make this equal, or to make this right, it's 5 less than 8. So we would start with 8, and then we would take 5 away from it. So you start with 8, and then we're taking 5 away from that 8. Now for our algebraic expression here, again, the number is x. We don't know what the value of this number is. So it's 5 less than twice a number. So the first thing we need to show here is what is twice a number. And to show twice a number, that's 2 times that number, so that would be 2x. And then 5 less than that, we're going to take 5 away from that number, and that would leave us with 2x minus 5. And then our last expression here, it says 3 more than half the number. So there's a couple ways that you could show half the number. To show half the number, I could set it up as 1/2 times x, or I could set it up as x divided by 2. Both of those show half of a number. I'm going to use the 1/2 times x method. So I have 3 more than half a number, so I'm going to start with half the number, and I'm adding 3 to that number. And that would be an expression that represents number 26.